Welcome into the Real Kipper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet, Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Sportsnet 960 in Calgary, 650 in Vancouver, and Sportsnet Plus. As always, this hour of Real Kipper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kiprios, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Jake the Snake Schultz, and Derek Brandeo for once again the fastest hour in hockey. Without any more games to play, as the season concluded last night with the Florida Panthers crowned Stanley Cup champions for the second consecutive season.
Well played.
Yay.
Well played. That's a hockey team right there.
Yay.
Kip, I was talking with Daryl Sutter this summer, and he was telling me that.
Oh, can I pick up that name you just got?
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm going to be part of his book, Sam. I'll have
Coming
hey
out.
now.
A Daryl book.
Early promo. But
Love it.
talking to him about the
Definitely
cup, and he explained to me that once you've won the cup,
Yes.
he still experiences some jealousy. Like, that's my cup. I won that cup. He wants to win it again. Like, he's not done with the cup.
Yeah.
How do you feel seeing the cup handed out?
I feel good. Yeah, I've got no issues.
You're happy to.
I look at my cup like I look at my high school years.
Yeah.
Like just right.
Glory Days plays in the background.
Like
Glory days.
when you're like have no worries in the world and you're just a kid and all of that. I'll tell you what I went through in a similar fashion was watching the Rangers' success after I was long gone. And they went to the finals, of course, right, with King Henry, and came close on a couple occasions.
Alec Martinez in overtime.
Yes. And it's like, I don't want them to win.
Yeah, you want it to be the last.
Really?
Yes.
Well, it's like
Wow.
the
Yes.
Miami Dolphins, right?
Right?
They're,
If they win the cup,
unbeaten
they're going to
season.
forget about our 1994 team.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't want that.
Yeah.
I went through that. And then at about, I don't know, turn of the decade there, 2020, I'm like,
All right.
yeah, that's enough of that. I want them to have success now. And it's now 30 years. I don't want to hold those
It's their turn
emotions
again.
hostage
Yeah.
forever. It's just selfish and greedy. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that don't remember 94 now, 30 years later.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that's
evolving.
that's the only thing that I've ever experienced. But watching the cup being presented every year is actually a very good feel for me, because whoever I'm beside at the time, I can turn around and say, I know exactly how that feels.
That's what I was just going to say. Like, we are sitting with a guy in the room that experienced what all those guys experienced last night, where it takes my breath away when they bring it out every time. Like, every time it's like, here it is.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's special.
oh my God, look
Yeah.
at that thing. Like, it is out of this world. And I can only imagine the emotions if my
Yeah.
beloved Maple Leafs ever did it.
So-
But just even when the Panthers, who I hate hoisting it, I'm like, oh, look at them.
So
Good for them.
For every action, there's a reaction, and I will never forget in '94, and it's an iconic picture today for Vancouver Canuck fans. Sorry, Canuck fans, but it is Trevor Linden bearing his hands in his face. I believe he's on one knee at the time at Madison Square Garden, and I do recall for a split second in all my hoopla going, oh my God, that must just feel awful right now. And today we say the same thing for Connor McDavid.
Excuse my ignorance. How close was Game 7 when you guys won it?
Nathan Lafayette hit the post
Yes.
with about 3 minutes to
Remember
go.
that. Now I remember.
And it was the difference of that going in overtime in Game 7.
Yeah. So part of it for you guys is probably relief, not knowing for sure that it was yours, down to the wire. I wonder if it's different when that one felt pretty over. Like by the time you got to the final buzzer, it's almost like you had time, Oilers players would have had time
Yeah.
to mourn the loss of that game before the final buzzer went. That was Florida.
Wow.
Florida putting teams away.
What did you think?
Clinical.
They pulled the goalie with, 6.5
I
minutes to
thought it
go?
was way too early. way
Yeah,
too early.
me too.
You got McDavid and Draisaitl.
Me too.
Let them get to at least 5, see if they can get one. Start thinking
Draw
about
a
it.
penalty, for God's
Yeah.
sakes. Get a power play
it's
goal
way
at
too early.
3-1.
And I'm an early goalie pull guy. I like early goalie
I didn't
pulls.
mind it, but I was
Florida's gonna
I was
get them.
shocked when I saw Sam Bennett fire one in, and I looked up and it was like 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, that was weird.
Something.
Yeah.
Listen, I like the aggressive goalie pull, but 3 goals when you got 2 of the best guys on earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna go back to yesterday's question, right? Now knowing the outcome. What is a bigger story right now? What do you feel like talking about the Florida Panthers and how great they are, or do we talk about Edmonton Oilers and how disappointing this thing is? Like, I mean, we're in Canada. At the end of the day, okay, Florida, you're great, blah 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 blah. But we live in Canada.
No, but Kip's right.
We live in Canada. That's the
Bleeds
story.
leads, baby.
Well,
the story's Edmonton.
But I feel like we owe Florida this, like, oh, and they, what a forecheck, and Bob's so solid,
Whoa,
and Reinhardt
what a
clutch,
third
and-
line.
Listen, everyone knows now. We're 3 years into them doing this. We know that team is cream of the crop. They are the tops in the NHL and have been for years now. So there's not much else to add. So let's talk about
There isn't.
Let's talk about the Oilers. Anything last night change anything for you about how we talked about them, how you felt about them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
What
What for you, Sam? What did it
Well,
change?
I know, like, I don't want to drive this into Leafland here, but I could tell you that if we came in here after 2 games where the Oilers had an unbelievable comeback in Game 4 to even up the series, and everybody felt like, oh my God, that's the turning point of the series. It's going back to Edmonton. They're going to win this cup. And they go back there, and I know Florida's good, and I know they rolled them, but, like, they laid an egg there. And then you go down to Florida, and they rolled over, quite frank. They had a good 5 minutes to start that game, I thought. They didn't get one to go.
A couple hits.
Like, if it was Toronto, all we would be talking about is how big of a choke job it was and how, like, no good these guys are. McDavid, was he -4 last night? Like, the energy that everyone just praising the Panthers, and I get it, they're great. But there was a lot that happened with the Oilers that was no good after they came back in that series. Like, they should have lost that series in 5 if it wasn't for that miracle comeback. Like, I know they're in the final and it's not, you can't compare that to the Leafs or whatever. Maybe I'm too fired up about it.
No, I'm with you in terms of the disappointment that I bought into, that this is a better team, a deeper team, a team that can certainly compete. I was anticipating one of the more memorable Stanley Cup finals in recent history. Didn't get it at all.
Well, after a couple OT games, everyone was like, I think 3 of the first 4 games into OT, and everyone
Well,
was
the first
like,
2
this is
games,
close series.
the first 2 games were unbelievable.
But I will say,
They were unbelievable, but there were games that Florida could have easily won as well.
Here's my point.
So I'm sitting there going, like, sweep.
Well, it
could have been a sweep.
It was a 6-game series.
Yeah.
3 of the first 4 in overtime, which both sounds close. Edmonton had the lead in the series for 8% of the series.
8%.
Florida set the NHL record, leading for 255 minutes, which was over 61% of the series.